Alright, now we can officially start the show. Good? Alright?
Yeah.
Good. It's 6:30, people. Alright. Okay, so. We good?
Yeah, we good.
Alright. You got the volume down?
I got the volume down.
Alright. Well, hey guys, and welcome to the show. It is Monday. No idea what the date is.
Yeah.
David, how are you? So chime in, let us know where you're from, and all that fun stuff. Give us a rundown while we go through last week in review. We hope week number 2 of the vlog went up last night, rather late, Sunday night, because I didn't have time to do it until I got back from Disney. Big Disney fan. Big Disney fan. Hi there. Is OFC worth the extra cost? And most OFC is always worth the extra cost. We don't even use the other stuff anymore. We did many years ago when it first came out. OFC all the way. It's not that much more, and it is totally worth it.
Yeah.
Okay, so week in review. We vlog number 2 went up. You haven't had a chance to watch it yet, I'm sure, even though you lived it. We hope you guys like it. We changed a little bit of things last year. Yeah, okay. Columbus, Georgia. Hey, checking in. Greg, yeah. Ed, cool. We're trying to maybe make those vlogs a little bit educational.
Nebraska.
Love your steaks. Love your steaks, John. Love the steaks. Jason.
Yeah, hi.
Froze. So, anyways, we'll get to the questions. Let them build up so we can bang through the questions.
Yeah.
Kansas City, Giovanni, what's up, buddy? So we changed as I was saying, we changed the vlog a little bit to maybe make it a little bit more, I won't say educational, but helpful. So each day we're trying to add a little bit of information about the cars we're working on, so that it's not just us cutting it up. Was a little bit of that always, because we just want it to be a vlog, but we also want you to feel like you're going to get something out of it, maybe. And we're adding in bonus footage that we're not in the Facebook Lives that we do. We're filming any before and after videos, or mainly after stuff that we do, to try to add a little bit more content in there, so that you're not just rehashing whatever you saw on Facebook. So that's going to continually evolve and hopefully be something you guys really... Hello. Yeah.
It just happened to be my house.
Cool. So hopefully something you guys really take a shining to and really enjoy. You know, obviously the vlog is something we've wanted to do for a really long time. We just haven't really figured out how to do it, and make it fun and fast.
Oh, Charles from Canada.
Oh, hey, what's up? Hey.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it'll ever evolve into like a longer daily vlog. I don't know if we have time to do that as far as editing goes. I mean, we have enough content to do that, but that would also cut into our other content that we
videos,
do.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it'll ever. I think right now the amount that we're giving is about all we have time for.
Hermanito, Eduardo, ¿cómo estás?
Ford Amp Pop. I was just reading that. All right, that's on my list of videos to make. That's funny. All right, so let's get started with the questions. We got enough built up there.
All right.
Let's scroll up to the top.
The first one is for David. David saying, "What is the intro song to your YouTube, to the videos on your YouTube?"
Great. Okay.
The intro song.
Honestly, it's like Sakaro or I'll have to look that up. It's I believe it's by Silent Partner. I'm not sure, but I'll look that up and I'll get back to you on Facebook and let you know. You're talking about the one we do in all the videos, right?
David.
David. The one that we do in pretty much all the daily videos, because we're doing more songs in each style of video is getting its own song now. So the ones where we talk about like radio unboxings and stuff like that, and I think it's also the same intro song for all the installs. If that's the song you're talking about, I'll let you know tonight or tomorrow morning.
Okay, so Gregory Taylor says Samsung made a USB C
Yes.
to HDMI adapter for the Galaxy SA Plus to mirror the phone to the HD TV will work in the DDX9903S to mirror my phone to the HD to the radio by HDMI.
So Samsung's making it?
That's Samsung. Yeah.
If it's I ordered an HDMI to USB-C cable the other day. I don't have I haven't been able to get my hands on a phone to test it. If Samsung's making the cable and you can plug it into your TV and it'll work, there's no reason why it shouldn't work plugging it into the HDMI on the back of the radio. I'd be real curious to find that out. We'd love to know. Wish you were local because I'd buy the cable personally just to test it out. It's one of those things. The phone we have is old and won't do that kind of stuff. So contact us.
I mean, if it works in your TV, like you say, it works in the.
Yeah, I would definitely plug it in and try.
Yeah.
And let us know. I mean, you can either let us know.
It's a brand new phone.
Yeah, these phones are just. The 7s are doing the same thing. It's a hit or miss as far as Miracast goes. So.
Yeah.
Oh, you have my phone. I'm like, where's my phone? You have it.
Yeah.
iPhones always work. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so William say, what 6.9 do you recommend for a 2015 Dodge Ram with a 3.0 system? Yeah, 3.0 system for now and amp later. Sorry.
You know, that's a good question. I mean, we always recommend Punch if you really like a lot of treble. I also like the Kenwood Exelon 6x9s, sound really nice. If you got the budget, look at like the Focal Integration 6x9s. Those are really nice too because it's a coaxial. It's a separate. It comes with a 6x9 inch mid bass and a tweeter for up in the dash. So the Focal Integration series would be so. Fired. I think we did a set of those in a video not too long ago. If you want to check it out, I'm pretty sure we did. I might be wrong. It's all a blur. Next question.
Okay, so Mark, about the 4 OEM
pop. So we use what's called a VM1. I believe it's called a VM1. Is it called a VM1? Variable
resistor.
VR1.
Yes.
I thought it was a VM1. Anyways, it's a variable resistor.
Yeah.
We're going to shoot a video on it. Every time we get a Ford in, we forget to shoot the video. What the variable resistor does is it allows us to actually adjust it constantly until we find the right amount of resistance, and we're constantly turning on and off the key until it doesn't pop anymore. Yeah. And then once we've got that, we just put it all away and we're done.
Let it go.
So we actually don't even meter it. We turn a dial. Yeah. They're made by Pack. And they come in a pack of 5 for like 10 or 15 bucks.
Yeah.
But that's what we use on the Fords. If you'd like to know more about it, why I keep saying tonight. If you'd like to know more about it, send me a message.
Yes.
And we can talk about it more.
We give you the model number and everything.
Yeah.
All right. So,
hey Tim.
Charles, say what do you think about Polk Audio car speakers?
Polk Audio car speakers?
Yeah.
I really don't. I mean, at the end of the day, we really don't do much. The only Polks we carry are the DB Marine ones.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, I'm sure they're good. I have no experience with them. We carry enough other stuff to where we don't really get involved with those. I know there are some guys that really like them. They're not the same company they used to be back when I started, so not that means anything, because what is. But, no, I mean, I'm sure they're good.
Okay, so Ernie say, have any experience with the CT sounds? Bought a couple of sets of the Mezzo to go with the 900 HD.
I know Soundman has a deal with CT sounds and he really likes them. I've never personally heard a set of CT sounds. We briefly looked at the line but didn't really do anything for us. Honestly, I would ask Soundman. I'd send him a message and see if he likes his. I don't know if he's just going to say he likes them because they're actually paying him to like them. But, yeah, we've done nothing with them.
Yeah, he worked with that, yeah. David say, yes, that's correct, for the sound.
For the Samsung?
For the song.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right, Dave. I'll let you know. I'll get back to you on that one.
All right, so Gabe, loudest substage setup to the first behind third row in the Tahoe.
Say what?
Loudest
Right.
substage.
Substage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Setup that fits behind the third row in the Tahoe.
Oh, okay. Third row in a Tahoe, I've done 310s.
Okay.
I've done, obviously, the 212s.
Yeah.
All sealed. This was a while ago, but 310s seemed to sound the best. The 212s was okay. I've actually done 215s, two R-Type 15s. It sounded absolutely terrible. I would not recommend doing that. But the 310s, in my personal opinion, sounded the best. You can obviously get into some really big 12s right now that might give you more bass, but sound quality, I think the 310s would be the way to go.
Okay, this is Luis.
And that's the only application I would recommend 3 of anything.
All right.
Okay, sorry.
Bill.
Yes.
Oh, say hello to Bill.
Hi, Bill. What's up?
Okay, this is
Hey,
from
Butch.
this is from Puerto Rico. Luis. That's in Spanish.
Go ahead,
I'm gonna
read
say
it.
okay.
That's
so,
you, man. I'm going to take a drink.
No, I'm gonna say Luis.
Watch my puppet skills.
He say, "Thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much for your videos. You guys are the best."
Hello from Sweden.
Yeah.
What's up, buddy? Richard.
Rickard.
Rickard. I hate name. I hate trying to pronounce name. I'm sorry if I butchered
All right,
everybody's
so
name.
gracias
Sorry.
Luis por el apoyo que nos das y saludos para Puerto Rico. All right, so Tim,
Did you just
hey
sing that
guys.
song? All the way to Puerto Rico.
Oh, there you go. All right, so
Okay.
hey guys, I got my shirt today. Looks great. Thank you, Tim.
Thanks, Tim. Oh, Tim.
Yeah.
Tag us on Instagram.
Yes.
I had a guy last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, he might have yesterday, but I didn't see it till last night because I boycott my phone on Sunday because of family time. So I was it was cool.
So he with the shirt.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
That was nice.
Instagram tagged us. That
All
was
right,
cool.
so Tim, if you have the shirt,
Tim's the man.
picture and tag us.
Tim the Toon.
Oh, right. So, John, do you have any experience with the Precision Power PPL series, especially with the amps? And if you so, what are your thoughts on the sound quality and reality?
You know, the only SoundStream. The only Precision Power I've ever worked with is the original Art Series Precision Power back in the day. The company now is not that company. Not to say that not to say there's anything bad with that, but it's not a brand that we got on board with yet or at all. There's only so much time in the day that we have to play with this stuff, and unless they want to send us the equipment to play with, I just don't know. I mean, I've looked at it vaguely, and we don't get any of it through here, so that's that.
All right. So, Tony say that's 11:38 p.m. in the UK. It's time. I love Tony, man.
Yeah, UK Tony.
Thank you, Tony.
I gotta go there and just say hi to him.
Yeah, right.
Just hang out.
Oh, you come over here, man.
No, fuck
Hang
that.
out with
I'm
us.
over there.
Yeah. William, say thanks. Donald.
Hashtags. Just hashtag.
Is
5
Pioneer ever going
stars.
to release a sound quality double din, similar like the 80 PRS?
That is $1 million question, and you may have asked me this before, or it's just coincidence that everyone asked this question. Okay, so little disclosure. Kenwood. I'm sorry. Why did I say Kenwood? Oh wait, because I was wearing a Kenwood shirt in my Pioneer video. Pioneer is really tight-lipped about everything. The other thing you have to consider too is that Japan is where all the stuff originates from. So if it originates in Japan, it may trickle over to here. So if you go to Japan's Pioneer website and see if they have any products like that, that's where it's all going to start. If it never starts there, it will never get here. And they're not telling us anything. At best, Pioneer will probably give us a 4200-ish radio with a clear resistive screen. That seems to be the only thing that they're focusing or at least leaking just a little bit about. Other than that, it's a who knows, man. The 15th of this month, Eddie's going out to do one of his trainings over there, and it's an AVH training, so we might get some new information then. I'm on pins and needles personally. I really want to know. So, for them, they just keep making the PRS 80 because it's done. And yeah, we ask, and they just look at us and they're like, "Oh, really? Why would you guys want one with high-res audio? Does anybody even know what a FLAC file is?"
All right. So Gregory Taylor say thanks. Sure, we'll. Oh, okay, so he
got your shirt?
It's shipping.
Oh, okay,
the
cool.
Shirt is shipping. So as soon as you get the shirt,
Paul got his shirt today.
there you go.
Thanks.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, team. Yes.
Oh, nice. Okay, Jeff, Arizona checking in. What's up, guys? What's
Hot
up,
and dry,
Jeff?
baby. Hot and dry.
Yeah, Kevin. Hey guys, really enjoyed your videos. Thanks for all the tips. Quick question: what are your favorite Apple CarPlay unit on the market at the moment?
Honestly, when we did the comparison between clear resistive and capacitive touch, it was real clear that capacitive touch is the shit. And compared to, I mean, it is so much better than clear resistive. Clear resistive will get you by, and like the DMX Kenwood is clear resistive, which is a bummer. Because I really like that unit. I would have loved the capacitive touch version of it, and I think I'm going to settle.
Yeah.
But the 9903 or the 8200 or the 893S, those units are awesome because they have that screen.
Mm-hmm.
Not to dismiss the Sony, but Sony isn't really telling us what type of screen they had. And I've had people argue about me, oh, well, it's on the website or it's on the box. It's nowhere. I have not found anywhere, and if someone could actually screenshot it and say, Sony said they have this screen in here, then
that
cool.
would be good, yeah.
But I've scoured everywhere, and there's no Sony person to call because Sony doesn't do that. So
right.
I would say
Kevin.
one of those three. Sorry, go ahead. Long answer to a short question.
Frost. He only put Pack Audio VR5. I don't. Exactly.
Yes, the PAC VR5 is
There
exactly
you go,
the product.
man.
That's
He's the man.
variable resistor 5. Nathan's a genius when it comes to part numbers. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
That's why. Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
Say Richard from Sweden.
Yes.
Yes.
Sweden.
Okay. Charles.
Now, on real quick on the variable resistor thing, PAC is actually coming out with a 5-volt turn-on chip here, hopefully next month or so, I think is what they told me, that will negate needing that. It's going to be a 6-volt, 5-volt, 3-volt, 9-volt chip. There's a switch on it. We tested it for them, what was that, back in November? We beta tested that for them. Thing is awesome. It's tiny, it's cute. That you could use in lieu of that because it's 5 volts. Basically what that Ford is looking for is a 5-volt turn on. The resistor is doing that, but when we tested it on the Ford with that in the 5-volt mode, it was great.
All right. So Charles, what do you think of having 4-component speakers with tweeters up front and in the back of the car?
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Because he installed and running components in the front and coaxials in the back.
So the reason why a lot of the times you do the coaxials in the back as opposed to components is, one, there's no tweeter spot. If there's a tweeter spot, there's really no reason not to. Two, if there is a tweeter spot, a lot of the times the tweeter spot for the rear sucks, and it affects the driver's front. So what'll happen is if the rear tweeter isn't all the way in the back by the mid-range, they usually like to put it in the rear doors, which is really close to the driver's head, which causes issues. You have to really turn that tweeter down low, which negates the point of actually putting a tweeter there in the first place. The other thing, too, is you could buy a better set of components. Excuse me. You can buy a better set of components with the money that you would spend on 2 sets of components. So you could buy, let's say, a really nice set of Focal K2s as opposed to 2 sets of K2s, or having to scale down to their FLAC series.
Yeah.
So you could get nice K2s up front and just rear fill for the back.
All right.
So that's why. Choking. So that's why you typically do a really nice set of components up front and you don't do them in the rear. Just comes to personal preference, because these are the speakers you're hearing more. You'd want to spend more money on the front, less money in the back. But you do want to get them in the same series. because that's called timbre. And that's, if you're really trying to make it count, you want the tweeters to be the same. Okay,
All right,
go
that's
ahead.
for Charles. All right.
For Charlies?
For Charles. That's his name. Charles.
Okay.
Charles.
Charles and Charles.
Charles, yeah.
Charles.
Corey, say, what's your place to go to ground the amp?
The shortest thing possible that doesn't affect any of the workings of the car, like gas tank, fuel lines, brake lines, or anything like that. Sand, bolt, screw. Never go to a seat frame, seat rail. If there's a factory ground nearby, we'll go to that. But the kits we use come with 2 feet of ground wire. That's all you get. So if you can't do it in that, unless it's a Ford with an aluminum chassis, you're gonna have to make lounder. You just get it as close to the amplifier as possible within reason.
All right. So
But
thank you,
sand,
Jesus, for
screw.
watching. Gabe, JL Audio W7, A versus Sundown SAB38.
I'm gonna go sundown. I don't know why. I just feel sundown.
All right, Tim. How do I tag on Instagram?
Hashtag 5 the number star, spell it out, car stereo.
Yep. There you go. And there is a guy named Bass Trenchon.
Okay.
Trenchon on YouTube, like those PPI amps. Mention him about them. Okay, that's another question.
Yeah.
He replied to another question.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Do you know where you can get the heat shrink with the logo?
We get it from a company called wirecare.com. They sell us bags of, 100?
100.
You gotta buy bags of 100 at a time.
That's for Giovanni.
Yeah, so we have we buy 100 at a time of every color we use. 100 or 200. Maybe it was 200 this time.
Yeah.
It was a real stupid. It was like $4 more to double the order. I'm like, dude, we've ordered from you like 5 times. Why did no one mention this? But it's called wirecare.com, and they will pretty much print any logo you want. You do have to spend a couple $100 though.
Okay, so Eric, is there any system out there that does front and side mirror camera system?
Yeah, there's an add-on to pretty much any system that has a backup camera input. It's made by PAC. It is called the, hold on. And I'm back. It's called a VS41. And what that'll allow you to do is take any rear camera input and turn it into front and side as well as rear inputs. So, and you can hook them up to the turn signals so that they turn on. You can hook them up to toggle switches. You can do whatever you want. If you still want to use your front camera input, like you have one of the cool Pioneers of Kenwood that has a front camera input, you just want it for left and right, you can do that as well. So the VS41 from PAC, which is going to be pac-audio.com. You can go there, type in that model number, and see the cool instruction manual for it. It's actually a real simple product.
Yeah.
And we have one that we just haven't shot a video on yet.
Alright, so Jesus has a screen on what Sony? Again?
The Sony, it is the AV100.
Yes, okay. Jason, have you heard?
Heard? Here?
Here.
Okay.
Heard
We're here.
of the Pioneer 5-channel overheating?
No,
I
we actually do it.
Certain reviews that they say the amp gets hot.
What Class D amplifier doesn't get hot, I guess, would be the more appropriate question. All Class D amplifiers get hot. We live in Florida. These things get really hot. I've never had a 9605 get hot and shut off ever.
And we put a lot.
We put a lot of them in. We put a lot of those in, and we put a lot of the Kenwood, which I can never, what is it, 8,000 or 8,000.5 or anyways.
Yeah.
No, those amps, and we put them under seats all the time. So if it's going to get hot, it's going to get hot where we put them.
Yes.
And we've never had any problems with that amplifier. The only problem that amplifier has, and this is true for every single Pioneer amplifier, is when you turn it off, 5 seconds after the amp shuts off, it goes, has a turn off pop. They all have it.
Yep.
We've asked them about 1,000,000 times, and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. No one's ever complained about that. And it's like, dude, really? Link to a YouTube video where this kid just went crazy tearing his car apart trying to figure out why he had a turn on pop. And they're like, you guys didn't film this video, did you? I was like, no. I'm just showing you. We're not the only ones complaining. But it is a great amp. It's a ton of power. we don't let that affect sales of the amplifier because it's such, it's a great deal. All right.
Alright.
What do you got?
Alright, so this one, Jeff. Best component speakers under $300. Sound quality, not just loud.
Sound quality, not just loud.
Yeah.
I would check out the Kenwood 7-inch Excellons. I would check out the Hertz Energies. I think the Focal Axe integration line of 6.5 tweeters is in that same price point. As well as Audison's Prima line is also in there. Alpine's R-Type is in there, which is also a really nice speaker for the money.
Yeah.
And those are all great sound quality. The R-Type is probably going to be the most popular out of that bunch, and closer to the $300 out of all of them, maybe.
All right.
But it has a really nice sounding tweeter.
All right. So David say best place to grab wires for the line output converter. 2014 Ford Explorer with a 9 speakers non-Sony system.
Rear doors.
Rear doors, David.
You want to go to the rear doors. Those are tricky. What year was it?
2014.
That might not have fake engine noise. So try the subwoofer first, if it has a subwoofer. If you get some crazy like noise, disconnect it off of that and grab it at the rear speakers. You want to use the rear speakers. The rear speakers is the default. They're full range. They'll play bass. They'll play everything. But if you can tap it at the sub without getting fake engine noise, which I don't think that one has it that year, you'll be better off. The only thing is you have to keep the factory amplifier in. You can't go before it because the output voltage is way too low. It sucks, but...
Alright, so Juan say, hey guys, will having 4-volt preamp outputs be more beneficial over 2 volts on the head unit, such as a cleaner?
Yes. Many years ago, Alpine, I'm not gonna. They kind of appled the 4-volt output, meaning they didn't invent 4-volt output. They just made 4-volt output really cool and desirable. And how they explained it is 4 volts is half as much noise, twice as much signal. So noise is a constant, meaning each radio has a certain amount of noise that it's going to put out over the RCA section of the radio. The difference is if you have this much noise and you have a 2-volt signal, you can see this much noise, 2-volt signal. If you have this much noise and a 4-volt signal, the noise is going to be way down here compared to signal. So half as much noise, twice as much signal. So yes. And especially now, the way a lot of these decks are being built, the preamp sections aren't what they used to be back then when Alpine was making those cool decks. So by all means, yes, go with 4-volt. And most of the time, it's not even a true 4-volt. Like, very rarely do we, when we test these radios, do we actually get a 4-volt. So if you're not getting a 4-volt, God only knows what you're getting in the supposed 2-volt. That's probably like a 1/4 volt. So by all means, go with as much voltage as you can get.
All right. So
Yay.
Ed say, hey, I heard you like MacBooks.
Yes.
Any recommendation of one around 1200 range?
So what I like to do is when I have to update my MacBook is I go to Apple's website and they have the refurbished section in the sales page, usually located somewhere in the bottom left-hand side. They have the refurbished section.
Okay.
Go to the refurbished section on Apple's. They give you the same warranty. They'll ship it direct, and you usually save $3,000 to $1,000 depending on the deal. When I bought my MacBook Air, I saved $1,000. When I bought my MacBook Pro, I saved about $400. So, yeah, I always buy those refurbished. So, way to go! Definitely want to try that out.
Alright, so Roger said it's possible to put an 8-inch mid-range in the door of 2003 Nissan 350Z without building a pod.
Ooh, the 350Z is a tough one. I mean, it's hard enough to put a 6.5 in there without like the magnet hitting the window, because the window, when it rolls down, it turns into the magnet. So you need a really shallow speaker. Plus the way the door kind of bows in. It's hard. It's hard to fit a good size 6.5 in there, let alone an 8. So I don't think that's a doable thing. And with that, I will stop and take a drink. Okay. Alright, where are we? Sorry about that. Love your work, love your show. Thanks, John. Jason, perfect, thanks. What camera do you recommend for front view? That's a great question. And actually, for most of them lately, we've been using the Kenwood Cube camera. They're okay, so to back that up a little bit, when you're looking at a front camera, you have to do two things. First, you have to make sure that your radio is either going to flip the image in the radio, or you need the camera to flip the image. Crazy people?
Yes.
If the radio will flip the image, then Kenwood makes a really nice camera. The 200. Hold on.
What are we talking about?
We're down to the backup camera, front-facing camera.
Oh, okay, cool. What are you looking for?
I don't know what it is.
Okay, so.
Anyways.
Yeah.
I don't know what the camera model number is.
No.
Yeah.
We back to you.
I don't. Anyways, sorry, I don't know the model number. I'll have to check into that. Otherwise, for the front camera, we just if you go to echomaster.com, they have a ton of little cool cameras that have the reverse built into them. We'll just go through those until we find one we like. They have a couple pinhole cameras that are really nice. So, okay.
All right, so Mark said the deck has 2.5 volt RCA output.
Yeah.
The amps are the Kicker CXA 1800 and the CXA 300x4. High level or low level to the amp?
Okay, so if you've watched any of the Kicker Facebook lives, they talk about their high-level input circuit that they have built into their amplifier. And they talk about how, this is exactly what I was talking about, they talk about how a lot of the radio's preamp sections aren't even preamp sections, they're actually just high-level to low levels built into the radio that are giving you a set of RC outputs. So they say to actually hook up deck power directly into the amplifier and let the amplifier do the down compression, so to speak, because the amplifier can take it. So Kicker's recommendation is to run the deck power into the amplifier. So I'm not going to go against them on that and say don't do that. However, that's entirely up to you. We typically always run RCAs. I get what they're saying. So, yeah, I don't think you're wrong to do it either way. According to Kicker, you can do it either way. So
Michael is good or bad, or it's false. Well, that's true. It's to run in the RCA wires at the same side of the battery wire.
Good, bad, or is it false? Okay, so the reason why that is the reason why that's so is back in the day when you had cheaply built amplifiers and they had no grounding, noise filtering, or anything like that built into the amplifiers, you had to be real careful with where the power wire and the RCA ran. Nowadays, amplifiers are built way better and with way more noise canceling just built into the amplifier themselves. So that's not as important as just running good quality cables. So no, we do it constantly. We're mounting amps under seats, and you have to run the signal with the power wire. If we're doing a big system where we're doing multiple amplifiers, we'll split it up, run RCAs down one side, power on the other. It also depends on what we're using. If we're using a high quality amplifier that's built well, Alpine, Hertz, whatever, Kicker, Rockford. No, we don't worry about it. I have not done and I had somebody give me some grief about this on a video, and I'm like, I didn't waste all this time putting the stereo in this car for it to have noise. So no, we don't. Yes, I wouldn't. If you buy cheap amps, yes, separate. If you don't buy cheap amps, you buy quality products, you should never have noise. Not anymore.
All right, so
don't wrap them around each other though.
Eric say, what kind of amp do you recommend for some Alpine component speakers? What kind of Alpine?
Alpine makes some really nice amps. They have the PDR amplifiers, which we have right down here. They make a 4-channel and they make a 5-channel. The PDX V75 is a great little 5-channel. They make a matching 4-channel that's also really nice. They also have these guys over here, which are their more inexpensive versions of them, depending on what you're trying to do. If you're going with R-types, go with the PDR amplifier. It's a really nice amplifier to go with. Okay.
All right. So, Corey, I've been trying to get some of the ferrules here in Australia.
Oof.
Have to be a big company to get them here. Any advice?
I know Amazon actually sells them, but I don't know what Amazon does as far as Australia.
Yeah. Maybe eBay.
Dude, I feel your pain, man. I mean, I know it's like they got to ship everything in there. That is going to be tough. Yeah, I know they have. I don't know what your Amazon system looks like. I don't know if Amazon even exists over there, because Amazon does sell ferrules. You can buy cool little packages. Yeah.
All right. So Thomas, do you all sell much mats? Got to see their black band demo this weekend, and it's awesome. The only problem I see is the MSRP. Liner power, and glad to see them back.
We actually do nothing in mats. So here's So the story behind this shirt. 2 years ago, we went to Daytona, and
Hola, Carlos.
They were handing out shirts, and they gave me a shirt, and I have a trough full of shirts, and so every 6 months I go through, and that's why. And I wear this shirt because it just comes up in the rotation, and everyone's like, "Man, it's cool," and it's like,
we don't sell that.
We don't sell it. It's just a shirt. I know. I feel terrible about it. But that's the story behind the match shirt. Unfortunately, we have absolutely nothing with them. I know, it's terrible. I'm gonna burn this shirt tonight.
Alright, with Howard. He say, I really enjoyed your install videos. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Great work. The cleanest install I ever seen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Juan say thank you. Any inside info of the release date of the new model of the A93S?
A93.
Chuck.
What's an A93S?
I guess that's the Kenwood A93S.
894S.
That will be the A94S.
It's going to be 894S, and you're talking with them at the training last week. He's probably thinking September, October. And it's going to basically have the operating system. He's thinking that it's on the 7704, the DMX. If you go and look at the DMX 7704 on their website, and you can check out the owner's manual. In the owner's manual, it has the instructions for the new 9904 and the new 6904, which are identical to the 894's instructions. So there's only going to be slight changes. They're only tweaking the OS just a little bit. And as far as if they're going to carry on what they did to the output section for the DMX, they improved that too. So hopefully they're going to DMX.
Howard, he say, what do you think about sound down audio equipment?
I think it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's good. It's good stuff.
Eric, why do Toyota Sienna have 5 tweeters? Do you need them all? I want to upgrade the tweeter speakers.
They have 5 tweeters because they're all cheap. And that's really the answer. Is
so
that
basically they only have 2.
They didn't, okay, compare that to a 6x9. You can go and you can buy a $79 6x9 that has 4 tweeters on it. Or you can buy a 6x9 for $120 that has 1 tweeter on it. So, with the logic there, is a 3 or 4-way to technically cost more than a 2-way because I'm getting more product. But the reality is I'm not, because that 1 tweeter is way more advanced, way nicer sounding than the 4 tweeters that they put, or the 3 tweeters they put, or the 2 tweeters they put on the other speaker. Toyota's doing the same thing. They're using cheap tweeters, and they're cheap, to make up that sound. No, you don't have to replace them all. Just replace the areas that you're trying to replace. Now, if you're just replacing them to integrate into that JBL system, then you got to replace them all. But if you're adding a system to it, no, don't fill all the holes. God, no. Just really nice setup front.
All right, Chris. He said, planning to sound deaden my 2011 Camaro SS. It is worth it while deadening the floor because I hear that it's pain in the ass to getting the carpet out.
I'm sorry, I was captivated by the alarm, the pretty lights. Dynamite the floor or don't dynamite the floor?
Yes.
So he's got the carpet out?
No.
He's not.
He want to know because they say the carpet, it's kind of pain to get it out.
What kind of car?
2011 Camaro.
Oh yeah, it is a pain. Oh, well. I mean, I really don't have a lot of road noise in mine.
They don't say that it's only 2 screws and screws.
Comes right out. But you do have to pull the center console, all the side panels. I mean, it's no harder than any other car when it comes to pulling the carpet out. If you got the time, do
the tools.
If you got the time and the tools, there's nothing going to stop you. Hard or not, no. It's just time. It's not any harder than any other car. You know, so no. I mean, if you want to do it, do it. You know, if you're going to do that while you have the sides out, go all the way up and do the headliner too. Because pull the whole upholstery out, do everything. Because if you're going to do the floor, the top is where the noise is coming from, not the floor. The floor actually has sound deadening on it. It's up there that doesn't, but you have to pull all this out to get that out. So that was fun. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so Ernie say I have the Kenwood with the 5-volt preamp outputs, JBL EZ5 with the built-in clipping lights. The amp is set to the low level and I have to keep the amp gains turned all the way down, and it sounds like my gain is turned all the way up.
Yes.
I tried to turn the gain up.
No.
It distorted.
Okay, so
why?
Gain. All right, so clearly we need to do a really long talk on this one. Not tonight though. Gain is input sensitivity. It's a dumb name. It's called gain and not volume for a reason, because it's not volume. In a perfect world, if every radio put out the same amount of voltage, you wouldn't need a gain input on an amplifier. You just plug the RCAs in. Think of like a home audio, like a VCR or something like that. There was no gain control. You just plugged the RCAs in. Well, unfortunately, each radio manufacturer decides they want to be a little bit different. So the output voltage of the radio is going into this amplifier that is totally like, it doesn't know. They're two totally different manufacturers. They don't know what's going on. They've never met each other. They have to shake hands. Well, if one hand is bigger than the other, so they have to have some way to adjust that. And that's where we talk about clipping, the SMD DD1. Where does my radio clip? Where does the amplifier clip? You're not going to... Okay. A 500 watt amp is always a 500 watt amp. It doesn't matter where that gain is, it's always going to put out 500 watts. So, if you have a radio that's coming in like this, at this level right here, your amplifier has to match that level. If you turn the input sensitivity / gain up here, then all it's going to do is as you turn up the volume, the other amplifier is going to get loud real quick. So you'll only be able to put your volume at maybe, let's say, 15, and it'll be maxed out. It's a topic that drives me up the freaking wall, because everyone will come in and say, yo man, I only got my gains turned up like halfway, I can crank them up higher. No, you can't. No, you can't. It's always going to be a 1,000 watt amp. It's always going to be a 100 watt amp. I'm not picking on you, by the way. This is just one of those scabs that you pick and just... So, that's why. You're putting out 4.5 volts. The amplifier's input is set to handle the 4.5 volts or 5 volts. And you're done. It's actually, for you, it's simple. You just leave the gains all the way down. Kicker works, Alpine's the same way. Their input sensitivity, you keep them all the way down. They actually will, they don't give you cool lights. They just shut the amplifier off. So you know when you've clipped it. But that's just it. It's not, you're not losing anything. Everyone always thinks they're going to lose sound or not have enough power. That's all the power you get. That's the problem, is that people feel like they're not getting enough sound out of it. Mm-hmm. Then you need bigger amps. That's really the issue, is that people set the gains up. You set the output of the radio up. You set the gains up. You find out all the clipping. You get everything all set up. Like, oh, it's just not loud enough. You need more power, because that 70 watts isn't enough. You need 120. But we'll talk about that more later. So let's go on to the next question.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah.
Alright. Alright, so
Tough
one question. 4-channel amp. I want to power one component set front and 112. And 112.
Yeah.
With 450 or 350 watts. And the amp has 2 by 290 watts of 4 ohm. How will it work it?
Okay, 2 ohm stereo, 4 ohm mono is the exact same amount of power. So up front you're going to be running 4 ohm, 2 times whatever at 4 ohms. So you said 90 by 2 at 4 ohms.
So 290.
290 at 4 ohm?
Yeah.
Or 2 ohm?
2 by 290.
2 by 290 at 4 ohm?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of power. So either way, whatever the 2 at 4 ohm, when you go to mono on the third, it's called 3-channel mode. So you can do right and left, no problem, then mono here. But your ohm load has to be 4 ohm mono on that 3 and 4 mono channel. And you'll get whatever the sum total of the 2 channels is. But you can't do 2 ohm, 1 ohm, or anything like that. So whether it's 2 ohm stereo or 4 ohm mono, it's the same exact amount of power. It's just how the amplifier is going to give it to you. So what you'd want to do is you'd want to run a 4 ohm woofer, dual 2, single 4, whatever, on channels 3 and 4, and you're going to get all the power out of that amplifier that it can give you. Hope that answers your question. Next question.
Okay, you say the Rockford power amps were long into the tooth.
Yes.
My T1500 will blow the crap out of the punch.
I didn't say they weren't good!
They're but good, LOL.
They're very good amplifiers. I'm just like, I wish they would take that amplifier and add the technology that's in the punch amplifier to the power amplifier, because the punch amplifier now has the DD1 technology built into it. It's their flagship amplifier. Evolve the damn thing. You got a great sounding amplifier. It sounds amazing. It just looks like it needs to be updated because it's looking kind of old, and it doesn't have that technology. So that's what I meant. Power-wise, they finally got those things running awesome. Let's just evolve them into today's technology. But yeah, it's, dude, come on. I mean, that 2500, the 1500, those are just knock the shit out of things.
Alright.
Those are real amps.
So Corey say, have you guys found a way to bypass the video motion on the new Colorado? I'm sure
check packaudio.com, see what they have, or check, I think they do. If they don't, it's going to be nav-tv.com is going to be the other company. Those are the 2 guys that build those things, video motion type stuff.
Bypasses, yeah.
So check those 2 right there.
Okay, Jesus, the Sony XAV AX100 say the active matrix for the display. Yeah,
it just says actor. That's all standard, but it's what's in the front of the screen. Is it clear, resistive, or capacitive touch? That's what I want to know. I've read all that. I mean, we published all that too. And we did
thank
a
you
review
anyway.
Yeah. No, I want to know which one of those 2. That's because that doesn't. Yeah, clear, resistive, capacitive touch. I just want to know one of those. But yeah, no, thank you. By all means, like you said.
Alright, Willie, is the Pioneer 4200 NEX a good unit?
Yes. It's a great unit. It's a very popular unit. We sell a ton of them. And we sell a ton of them because people like them.
We sell tons.
It's very easy to use. It's a very... Okay, this is the 3rd generation, 4th. Keep putting up. This is the 3rd generation of that radio. I don't know, it's because I have a hard time with this finger. Anyways, it's the 3rd generation of that radio, or iteration of that radio. They've fixed everything that could possibly do bad things. It's a really solid, good working, or great working radio. Mm-hmm. Yes, people love it because it's what it is. If I could find one fault in a 4200, it would just be that clear resistive screen. But
alright,
capacitive, it's what it is.
Michael, what do you think about the Kicker L7Q series?
I think they're awesome.
I think so too.
I think they're awesome. I think Kicker really, Now they just need to do something with that line to make people want to buy them.
Alright, Robert from San Francisco. Hello, Robert.
Hey.
Jorge.
Jorge.
That's Jorge, that's George. I have a 2013 Prius. I want to add a 5-channel amp. I want to keep the radio, but what do I need?
Okay, first things first. In a Toyota, anytime you can replace the radio, replace the radio. The factory radios in those cars suck. Okay.
Wow, that was deep.
That was deep. Okay. The problem, and actually, that's the video I gotta go home and edit. Is the Prius video. Toyotas. The problem with Toyotas is the speakers are typically good. Even the amplifier, if it has one, is not bad. The radio is terrible. It's terrible. As Charles Barkley says, it's terrible. It's terrible. You have to replace the radio. Otherwise, all you're going to do is make that crappy sound, which I know it sounds crappy. You wouldn't be wanting to upgrade it if you didn't. Be louder. So, buy a new radio. But, if you're not going to take my advice on it, and you feel you're like, no, I'm going to keep this factory radio because I love it, then pick up something like a Audio Control LCQ1 that has the EQ built into it. It's got 6 bands for front, 6 bands for rear, 5 bands for sub with AccuBass. That way you can try to fix the crap coming out of the radio. If it has a JBL system, something totally different. At that point, we really need to discuss replacing the radio because there's no keeping the JBL amp. Yeah. That's not happening. But, there you go. Okay.
Okay, so Clemente say, how do I know what kind of fuse I put if I'm not running a kit cable?
That's
just a standard regular wire.
Well, okay, so typically on the side of the amplifier, there's fuses on the side of the amplifier. Most amplifiers will have fuses. A lot of the amplifiers nowadays don't. So what we used to do is if it was a 500 watt amp, it would have 40 to 60 amps of fuses on the side. If it was a 1,000 watt amp, it would have 100. Thing is,
prevent the fire.
Yes. Back a little bit, hopefully not get that far, but it's only there to protect the wire. So some people say go 10% higher, so like if it's a 100 amp fuse, you go with 110 or 120. Most fuses are in 10 amp intervals, so you got like 50, 60, 70, 80, 100, 120, 200, 150. So all you want to do, voltage divided by, yes. Making it a little simpler so we don't have to do math, is that if it's 600 watt amp, a 60 amp fuse or 70 amp fuse will do the trick.
Yep.
But the fuse is not there to protect the amplifier, it is just there to protect the wire. So most protect anything that's going to be down the line.
Yep. And so, what he say, wattage divided by voltage.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I was reading. But yeah, no, I mean, there's no reason to do the math. It's just it's not there. It's not only, like I said, that fuse is just there to keep the car from catching on fire, like he said. That's it. So you're good.
All right. So Gregory, how is the sound quality of the Sirius XM satellite radio?
It sucks. I mean, it's compressed music. Sirius XM, like Pandora, like Spotify, like all these other things, are conveniences. You're paying for the convenience of listening to the music. That's it. That's all it's there for. If you want content, they got content, you pay for it. Does it sound good? Nope. But people just love it. So, like, my daughter doesn't care. She's 18 years old. She'll listen to anything. I don't care. My headphones sound great.
Okay, so Thomas say Toyota radios should be better than they are.
They should.
They are made by Fujitsu.
Oh, which is Eclipse.
Yeah.
Some of them are. Yeah.
Yeah, they suck. Also make Eclipse. Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's nice. It's all on a whiteboard somewhere. Someone says this price equals this quality. This is what we'll do. Cool.
All right. So Tony. Has
done it again?
Yeah. What is your most requested install?
Well, okay, so what is our most requested install? I don't know. What is our most sold install is what we call the 5 o'clock special. Paul has a deal where he does 212s, a 500 watt amp, power wire kit, and the whole 9 yards for a fixed price. Yeah. We do a ton of those. We also do the Rockford P301 or P312 or P301 12 or 10. We do a ton of those. the most popular radios definitely are going to be the 9903, the 4200, what now is the 2800, or was the 2800, which is now we don't carry, which is the 391.
Yeah.
We sold a ton of 4800s, which is now the 491.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the equivalent, anyways, the upgrade. There's the one now because we don't. Anyways,
we used to sell
is 5-channel amplifiers. We sell a ton of the Kenwood 5-channel as well as the Pioneer 5-channel, like we said. We really are all over the board as far as there's like no.
It's the customer. It depends of the customer.
There's no. What we try to do is once we get an idea of what type of music they listen to, we try to steer them towards a certain product, and then after we get them interested in that, we try to talk to them about better installation things like roadkill, fast rings, that kind of stuff. We also explain to them and show them like how we're going to do the install. That's where YouTube has become very helpful, because we can always say, this is what we do. We have things on display that show it as well, but we can also say, go here, this is what we do, and ask them to show you their install. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, so Corey is like, we have digital radio here.
DAB, baby.
Yep. In Australia, what is your equivalent? You guys in HD radio and XM. Yeah.
Yeah, and DAB is free. HD radio is free, but it's 2 channels, and it still sounds like crap. I don't know.
Yeah, so Clement say, thanks, I want to know because my amp don't have a fuse. In the manual says musical power 160 amps.
160 amps?
Yeah.
Or 160 watts. 160 watts?
No, he says 160 amps. And resistant power by 300 amps. Which one should be I take?
Wow, that's a big amp. What the heck, man? I hope you're running a 0 gauge. If it's a 0 gauge, you're probably going to want to run a 300
Yeah, it depends what kind of amp. Yeah.
Wow, that's a big sucker. Okay.
Okay, Jose, can you cut a 54-pin harness on the new Chrysler vehicle without factory amp to run, let's say, an audio control LC7?
You could cut it.
We don't.
I'm trying to think if. Okay, okay. Off the top of my head, I haven't looked for that one, but go on to Amazon and there's a company called Car AV, and they make Bluetooth T harnesses. See if you can find a T. That's what we buy when we're doing stuff like that. We buy the Bluetooth T harnesses. They might make one for your car. I haven't needed one for the Dodge because most of the Dodges we don't use that. But yeah, I would check that. See if you can find the Bluetooth T harness for your car. It's going to be an in and out, and then you can hack it up any way you want. You won't screw up the factory harness.
All right.
Yeah, try that.
All right. So Michael say, Kicker L7Q class, get your wallet out, buddy.
Oh yeah. Be prepared. Be prepared.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Okay, Sean say, on the Pioneer ABH 491. Where do you hook up the mute wire on the 2017 Ram?
The mute wire?
Yeah.
You don't. The yellow black wire is really only for GM OnStar modules. Otherwise, you don't use it for anything. It doesn't have to be hooked up. So, yeah, no, you won't have to do that. If that's what you're asking, because that's all it's used for.
Alright, should a typical music system in your vehicle have both crossover over the preamp and the preamp?
Yes. What's that? Does a typical
music system in your vehicle have both crossover and preamp?
Well, okay, so now most of that's built into the radio or the input of the amplifier. So like radios now have crossovers, EQs, time correction, all that stuff built into them, which is what we used to have externally. So most of the time, all we have to do is come out of the radio and go into the amplifier. What a lot of people are starting to do is use the things like the Bit 1 or the new audio control DM or Focal has one. Everyone's got this new Magic Box. So now you're coming out of the radio into the Magic Box, which has your EQ, your crossover, your time correction, all the things the radio has built into it.
Right.
But you can use a cool laptop to set it up, and then go into the amplifier. So there's a lot of different scenarios, but most applications you're just going to come out of the radio into the amplifier, and that's it. That's all you have to do. There's either a crossover in the radio or there's a crossover in the amplifier.
All right. So Jorge say, is there any way to keep my factory backup camera? I can find any backup camera retainer for my 2013 Prius.
Yeah, check out the if you go to pack-audio.com and look up the RP4.2 TY11, download the instruction manual. In the instruction manual, they're going to talk to you about buying a secondary harness to retain the backup camera, and also how to integrate it into the TY11. And if you wait to the end of the week, we'll have our Prius radio replacement video that we're going to be putting up. It's going to be very similar to what you're going to have to do. And in that, we retain the factory backup camera, the factory USB, and I believe the factory aux. So if you're patient, we'll have all that information for you to actually see us do.
All right, so Mr. Clemente say that's a 2600 watts.
That's a big freaking amp.
3000 watts RMS.
Yeah, you're probably going to want the 300 amp big ass fuse underneath there for sure. Yeah, 300. Definitely do a 300.
All right.
Wow, yeah. Maybe even a 400. I hope you're running zero gauge, because if you're not running zero gauge, whoo.
Okay, so David, line output converter for subwoofer. Hook up left and right, or you just one?
Oh, both speakers or not speakers?
Just one.
Okay, so there's a lot of debate on this, and I'm of the camp of just hook up one, because the sub track is recorded in mono and is not a left and right. Now, what people argue about on this is that a couple different people have said, well, you have to grab the left and you have to grab the right, or you have to grab a left front and a rear right. Anymore in these cars, if you can find a speaker and tap into it, golden. Use it. Because sub is mono. It's one channel. And as long as the speaker is playing that frequency, it really doesn't matter if it's left or if it's right. But there are guys out there that will argue that point, say, oh no, you need to get the left, you need to get the right, because if it's got a double bass, it may sound weird. I've never run into that. I've never run into that.
Like a subwoofer stereo?
Yeah, I've never run into that. But one speaker's fine. It'll do the trick.
All right.
If they're convenient, like you have two 6x9s in the rear deck,
and
you can just tap both. It's not going to hurt anything. But if you got, because most cars that have factory subwoofers, they only have one wire run to the subwoofer. Mm-hmm. So what are you going to do then? Oh, tap the one wire. I'm done. Yeah. Okay. So. All right.
Sean say, love what you guys do. Thanks for your time. Keep it up. Good work. And Clemente is running a 5.0 gauge. Yeah. So 300 watts.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's the most difficult car you have worked on? That's always a fun question to ask. I don't really think of it as difficult. I mean, a Lamborghini is difficult, and it's difficult because it's hand built by Italians, or Germans, or whoever the hell's making the car now. So those are usually not all that much fun. But I don't look at any car as like overly difficult. I just look at cars that are time consuming. It's really time. So cars that take a long time to do the installs the way we want to do them are what we consider like, ugh, that sucks. Mm-hmm. We were just having this discussion last week when we were working on the Maxima.
Yeah. Because
it's a real pain to get through the firewall the way we like to do it. But he was complaining about it while we were working on another car that was
the 350C.
That is so easy, and it's like
because we did like 4 cars in 1 week, like that.
Yeah, they were all the same.
That was 3 Infinities and the 350C, and so like those cars, they had the same to run the power wires. So I was like,
yeah. But no, it's really it's just a matter of time. Honestly, some of the hardest cars to work on are old cars. Like early, like 10, 15, 16, 20-year-old cars. Those are harder to work on because they're falling apart. and you have to like kick gloves and be very careful taking these things apart. So, you know, the exotics are one thing, but yeah, hard to work on. It's old cars. Old cars suck. All right, let's wrap this up. Let's add these last few.
All right, so
money touchscreen head unit. Okay.
Yeah, whatever you want to ask.
So do you guys work on exotic cars? When they come in, we work on them. I mean, we'll take anything. It just depends, you know, if it's a right fit for us and the customer, we'll work on the car. We have no discrimination that way. What's the best for the money touchscreen head unit? I'll give you two. I'll give you the Pioneer 391 and I'll give you the Kenwood 394. Those are two great 6.2-inch touchscreens that do very similar features and for a decent amount of money, and will 9 times out of 10 do all the things that you want that you don't know you want yet. So spend a little extra money. Don't always get like a 290 or a one. You get to spend the extra $100. It's totally worth it. Got the best info from you all. Thank you, Andrew.
All right, so one more.
Okay, one more.
If you use the Connect 2 harness, will the backup camera display on the stereo as well as the factory location in the rear view mirror?
Well, typically if it's in the rearview mirror, it's not going to display on the radio.
No.
You'd have to move it.
Unless you like rewire.
You'd have to move the wiring down to the radio because is this for the Toyota or whatever? Yeah, because a lot of those, if it's up here in the mirror, it's not behind the radio. If it's not in the radio, then it doesn't matter what harness you use, you're going to have to move it. So,
okay.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, whoever was before that I just missed.
Widow Andres from Ecuador.
Awesome. Hey, you guys, thanks a lot. You guys have a great night. We'll see you later. We'll see you tomorrow for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Because we're cool like that. Thanks for the thumbs up.
Don't forget next Monday.
Yeah, Mondays as always. And with that, we're going to bid you good night. You guys have a great night. We'll see you later next time. Bye.